Imagine driving through the Midwest where endless highways cut across open fields and tiny towns sit quietly along the roadside. Some are bustling with diners and neon signs. Others look forgotten. Their gas pumps rusted, their schools long shut down. But what if I told you? There was once a town that didn't just fade with time, it vanished. No fires, no evacuation orders, no storm warnings. One day, people were living their lives, kids riding bikes, church bells ringing, diners serving breakfast. The next, silence. Houses abandoned, coffee still warm in cups, and not a single person left behind. This is the story of Coldwater, a place so ordinary it barely made the map, until the day it disappeared without a trace. I first stumbled on Coldwater digging through old county records, property deeds that stopped being updated, a school that closed overnight, mail routes cut short with no explanation. At first, I thought it was a clerical error, but when I drove out there, I found something chilling. The roads leading in were cracked, like nobody had bothered to maintain them. Street signs leaned sideways, names half faded. And then I saw it. Rows of houses with curtains drawn, cars still in driveways, but everything frozen in time. It was like someone had hit pause on an entire community. Police reports described Coldwater as vacated. But what the paperwork didn't say was how. No official relocation orders, no mass buyouts, no natural disaster, just emptiness. And when you dig deeper, you realize how strange the records really are. Utility logs showed power was still running for months after people supposedly left. Water usage stayed consistent, then abruptly stopped on a single night. Local banks recorded ATM withdrawals that ceased within a 48-hour window. It wasn't a slow fade. It was an event. I talked to people in neighboring towns, farmers who swore they used to sell produce at Coldwater's weekend market, a truck driver who claimed his delivery route ended there every Friday. But when I asked what happened to the residents, their voices dropped. Some said the government fenced it off. Others whispered that Coldwater was built on land that was never meant to be touched. One woman, a former school teacher, told me she drove through Coldwater the week after it was gone. She swore she saw lights flickering in the windows at night. But when she got closer, the air grew heavy, her car stalled, and she couldn't bring herself to cross the town line. The most disturbing part? Phone records. The last calls placed from Coldwater all happened within minutes of each other. Desperate voices telling family members they had to leave, but never explaining why. And then, silence. Some theories point to toxic contamination, an industrial cover-up that forced people out quietly. Others suggest Coldwater was part of an experimental project, the kind that gets buried in classified files. And then, there are the darker whispers that the town itself wasn't erased. It was taken. A retired police officer showed me an old photograph, Coldwater's main street in the 1970s. He pointed to the faces in the crowd and said, half those people were never seen again. He claimed the sheriff's office had boxes of missing person reports that were never filed into state records. The strangest discovery came from a set of maps. County maps from the 1960s show Coldwater clearly marked, population around 1,200. By the 1980s, the town is gone, erased, as if it never existed. Ask the county clerk about it, and they'll smile politely and tell you it's a printing error. But you can't erase an entire town by accident. I spent a night on the edge of Coldwater, parked near what used to be the town square. The moon was high, the air unnaturally still. At 2:13 a.m., I heard something that froze my blood. A low hum, almost mechanical, that seemed to come from beneath the ground. Then faintly, voices. Not words I could make out, but overlapping whispers, rising and falling like a crowd in a church. When I stepped out of my car, the sound stopped. The air felt heavy, pressing down on my chest, and the houses across the square looked wrong. Shapes in the windows, curtains shifting when there was no wind. By sunrise, Coldwater looked ordinary again, just a ghost town, empty and silent. But I couldn't shake the feeling that people had never truly left, that something had claimed them, and whatever it was still there. The official explanation doesn't exist. Coldwater isn't even listed as a former settlement. It's not acknowledged at all. For a town that once had schools, businesses, and over 1,000 residents, the silence in the record books is louder than any answer. Maybe it was a government experiment gone wrong. Maybe it was something buried deep beneath the soil, something the land itself refused to hold. Or maybe Coldwater didn't vanish at all. Maybe it's still there, waiting, just beyond the line where the map runs out. The next time you're driving through the Midwest and you pass an empty stretch of road with no towns for miles, look closely. That turnoff with the broken signpost? It might not be abandoned farmland. It might be Coldwater. And if you hear voices in the dark, whispering your name, keep driving. Because some towns don't just disappear. They take you with them. If you want more stories like this, real mysteries, dark histories, and chilling investigations, subscribe to Shadow Oath. Leave a comment if you've ever passed through an abandoned place that felt wrong. Because the truth is, some towns don't fade away. They're erased.